bed here, back of the bench. Was going to do an update on this B-24. But after dealing with stuff that I've been dealing with all week, I, of course, haven't been able to do anything on it. A friend of mine passed away this week. Oh, and I'm going to rant. So I'm going to warn everybody right now, this is a rant. Alright. My friend Toni K Trumble. He's the gentleman I did the Memorial Day fiasco with. Passed away this Tuesday. To most people, he was just the angry old man down the block. Even I called him Old Drunk Toni. Because he was most of the time. Oh, Toni had anger issues. Oh, let me turn this thing around here. This is going to clunk, this is going to brittle. Oh. And this is going to be a mess. Set this up. I've had my own issues with Veterans Administration. Now, what you're seeing was a picture I took today of Tony's medals that he put on the wall. These here are the ribbons that represent these medals. There is one missing. He also received the Medal of Valor. The reason it's not there is because he left it on the headstone of his lieutenant. After all this, which by the way happened between the wars, Toni was one who actually went back and retrieved at least 7 servicemen that I know of from Cambodia and Laos. This right here. That. He wore proudly. If you don't know what that is the trident that a Navy SEAL earns. after completing buds. Very high honor. Special Forces. Moved up through the ranks rapidly. He was their sniper. So he had his demons. But because of a mistake that he made, after the mission that got him all these beautiful medals, he made the mistake of punching the lieutenant and knocking him over a desk after the lieutenant insulted him after he got off the helicopter. After carrying his dead lieutenant, getting wounded, flying, having a running firefight, till he got to the LZ, where he was picked up, flown back to the aircraft carrier, where this brass lieutenant decided that he was bigger and badder than the captain of the ship, and that he was more important, and so full of himself that Toni didn't even get a chance to secure the body of his lieutenant before this lieutenant dragged him to report to him by 2 armed Marines, because he was supposed to report to him immediately upon his return to the ship. Well, protocol states that Toni needed to secure the body of his lieutenant, report for debriefing to the captain of the ship, and be debriefed, then get cleaned up, have his wounds tended, and then report to the supply position. Well, when Toni was escorted in front of him, this young lieutenant, so full of himself, thought that Toni looked disgusting as he was standing there wounded, bleeding, and he looked at Toni and says, "And you stink." Toni balled up his fist and laid him out. After the court-martial, which he had to have because he struck an officer, UCMJ says, that's a complete no-no. The captain of the ship also stripped that lieutenant of his commission and cut him loose. And told Toni that his hands were tied, that according to UCMJ you cannot strike an officer. So he had no choice but to give him 6 months in the brig and give him a bad conduct discharge, which he did. Well, unfortunately, that bad conduct discharge could not get Toni the care that he really needed. After serving. So Toni was full of rage for a lot of years. And he did the only thing that a lot of servicemen do after they return home. So he drank. Drank heavily. But it was the cancer from his wounds that finally ate him up and killed him. But yeah, this is going to be a little disgusting. That's the body of a rat I found in his garage. Sorry about that. Let me rotate this. Toni look. Oh, love that bike. An old shovel head. That he had specially machined. Oh. Okay. So he had that front end. It was the only hardtail with a twin rotor and brake front end on it. That thing would stop on a dime. Yes, these skulls were actually machined into this. So. There's fuel tanks hiding down here. It should still turn over. But as you can see, it's an old shovel head, hardtail frame, custom handlebars. Called it his wife. It's the only thing kept with him all these years. Even though some of us tried to help. I tried getting his paper changed to a general so that he could get VA benefits. I tried to contact the local VA representatives here. They said we deal with the living, not the dead. So he cannot even get the honors that he deserves. And I know what kind of a hassle it is to go through that. I went 10 years just to get mine. Battled them tooth and nail. But anyway, just ranting. Sorry about this. And it's a long one. But Toni was a quiet man, full of anger, loved kids, loved his motorcycle, loved the Navy. Just thought you might want to hear a little bit about this. I'm sorry for the rant. Do thank you all for listening.